Hey friends, it's Miss Ming and I'm here with my best buddy Bentley. Today I'm going to be reading a story to you all called My Day is Ruined. We're going to learn about some ways that we can use some flexible thinking. So I know that here recently there have been times that I have felt like my day has been ruined because we've not been able to do some of the things that we're used to doing, and school looks different and we're all kind of stuck inside. So things have definitely been different, but we're going to read this book together today to see how we can use some flexible thinking during times when we think our day is ruined. So again, this book is called My Day is Ruined, written by Bryan Smith, illustrated by Lisa M. Griffin. Hey everyone, my name is Brayden and I'm in the 3rd grade. How many of you out there just hate it when someone ruins your day and acts like you're the one who's wrong? It happened to me again just the other day. My teacher, Mrs. Vickerman, acted like it was my problem for getting upset because the principal ruined my day again by having a fire drill in the middle of free reading time, and I was almost finished with my book. She said she was going to call my mom and discuss some ways to help me use more flexible thinking. Mrs. Vickerman kept going on and on about flexible thinking this and flexible thinking that, but all I heard was blah, blah, blah. The good news is that 2 whole days went by and I didn't hear anything about flexible thinking from my teacher or my mom. Cha-ching! They finally must have decided to leave me alone. Now I can focus on the championship baseball game I'm playing in tomorrow. I had waited all 8 years of my life for this day, and I just knew we were going to win because we had already beaten the team we were going to play earlier in the season. So when I woke up the morning of game day, I looked around my room to figure out where I was going to put my championship trophy. Then I quickly threw on my uniform and went downstairs to eat breakfast. As I walked around the corner to the kitchen, I immediately froze. No! I could feel tears welling in my eyes as I saw the rain pouring down outside. Why do things like this always happen to me? My day is ruined. I plopped down on the couch and covered myself with a blanket. I know, Mom said, this really stinks. You were so excited. But sometimes we have to roll with the punches. Truthfully, the rain is something we can't control, but what we can control is what we're going to do now that it is raining. Mom, you just don't understand, I said. You weren't the one who was going to get a humongous trophy and become famous. I was going to be on the morning announcements at school on Monday. You're right, Mom replied. I don't know exactly how you feel, but it still stinks for me too. I was really excited to get to watch you play. Brayden, remember how Mrs. Vickerman has been talking to you about using flexible thinking? Well, now's a great time to practice that. We came up with some ways to help you. Oh, great. Here we go again, I thought. Don't you guys know you can't really stretch your brain? I said. It doesn't exactly mean that, Mom said. It basically means you need to get creative with your thinking. When one thing doesn't work, don't give up. Try something else instead, like this. Mom ran outside and started dancing in the rain. In case you don't already know this, my mom's a little weird. She ran back inside, shouting, I've got it. This rain isn't going to stop us. We're still going to have a baseball game today. A few minutes later, she had laid out a slip and slide and some bases in the backyard. Before long, a bunch of my friends showed up and we had our first rainy day slip and slide baseball game. Don't tell my mom, but I think I had more fun playing this than playing our real game. That night, as Mom put me to bed, she whispered, Don't you see how I used flexible thinking today? Yeah, I wish I could think like that. You can. Just follow these 4 steps. Number 1, take a deep breath. Number 2, realize that some things are out of your control. Number 3, change your plan. Number 4, accept the change. Yeah, I said. I guess I didn't do any of those things today, but next time I will. Later that week, we were in math class learning how to solve different equations. The first one was easy. 6 plus 5. I quickly wrote down 11. Mrs. Vickerman said, "Great. Tell me how you know that's right. You need to prove it." You can ask my mom," I said. "I'm not sure how else to prove it." Mrs. Vickerman told me I could draw an example, use my hundreds chart, or use a number line. Now, I kind of remember her teaching those, but to be honest, I wasn't listening because I don't see why you have to solve problems in more than one way. Since I didn't agree with her, I just wrote it bigger. 6 plus 5 equals 11. "Brayden, all you did was make it bigger," she said. "That's not really showing me a different way. You have to use flexible thinking. Your mom told me she shared our plan with you. Let's try it here. How about step number 1? Take a deep breath. Did you remember to do that? No? We'll give it a try now. Fine." I took a deep breath. That part wasn't hard. Great. Now time for step 2. Realize some things are out of your control. What part of this is out of your control? I'll give you a hint. Who decides how many ways you have to show your answer? You? Right. So you don't have any control over that. Let's go to step number 3. Change your plan. You were trying to do something the same way and didn't even try the other examples that I offered. Now that you're ready, let's try it again. Then she reminded me of other ways. I decided to try to draw it out. "Wait, can I draw baseballs?" I said. "Sure," she said. I quickly drew a picture with 6 baseballs and then drew 5 more. Below them, I wrote the number 11. I handed the paper to Mrs. Vickerman. She smiled and said, "Looks like you already did step 4, accept the change." I was so excited, I asked if she needed me to show her another way. "I don't think so. You already showed me you know how to solve it in more than one way. But more importantly, you showed me that you know how to use flexible thinking." The next day at lunch, I was looking forward to eating our cafeteria's famous jumbo corn dogs. I hated being last in line, but the wait was certainly going to be worth it. As I waited, I could smell the, "What? That smells like tomato soup. Sick. I hate that." I put my tray back and started to march right over to the cafeteria worker to tell her how my day was ruined. Yuck. That's when it clicked. I remembered the plan Mom and Mrs. Vickerman showed me. I took a deep breath. That's when I overheard the cafeteria worker telling another student the corn dogs were left out and went bad, so they had to think of something else to serve for lunch. That sounds just like flexible thinking. If they can do it, so can I. I looked around. I saw there was celery with peanut butter. There were also crackers for the soup. There had to be a way I could make this work. Duh! I could just make peanut butter crackers for lunch and wash them down with some chocolate milk. As I sat down to eat, my teacher came over and gave me a high five. Looks like someone is using his flexible thinking. I smiled. It wasn't my favorite lunch, but I sure felt great leaving the lunchroom. On Friday, we were going to have a fun school assembly where everyone wore their Spirit School shirts. That morning, my brother Blake came down and saw me in my Spirit shirt. "Oh yeah, I forgot," Blake said. He sprinted back to his room to change. That's when things went downhill. He looked everywhere and couldn't find a shirt. "Mom, where's my school Spirit shirt?" Blake asked. "It's dirty," Mom said. He didn't care. He went through the dirty clothes, found it, and threw it on. "Nasty," I said. Mom came out and told him he could not wear the dirty shirt to school. So Blake turned it inside out, figuring Mom wouldn't realize it was the same shirt. "Nice try, bud," Mom said, "but it needs to come off. Let's try some flexible thinking." "No fair," Blake said. "My day is ruined." I guess no one had ever really shown him how to use flexible thinking. I walked over to Blake. "Don't worry, I can help. First, I need you to take a deep breath." He did. Great. Sometimes some things are out of your control. I know you really wanted to wear your shirt, but that's not an option. Mom's not going to let you. You need to change your plan. Let me help you. What are our school colors? Black and red, he said. Right. So why don't we just find a shirt that has the school colors on it? Okay, he said. He went to his room and found a superhero shirt he wanted to wear. Blake, I'm not sure if your light was on in your room, but that's not black and red, I said. Blake just looked at me and smiled. Geez, don't you know you sometimes have to use flexible thinking? So as I mentioned earlier, there have been lots of times here recently where I have felt that my day is ruined. So the next part of this assignment is that you're going to fill out the Google form where you are going to explain a time when you felt your day was ruined and how flexible thinking, the 4 steps of flexible thinking, helped you turn your day around.